So first, how did you get to where you are now?
My story is I was raised in what I like to describe and call the traditional single black mother household that most black boys are raised in. Uh, I believe most black children in our culture, in America, most of us come from good homes, uh, who, who mothers try to instill right and wrong, good morals, and good values. Uh, my mother had to work. My mother worked at General Motors, so she worked at nighttime. So when I got out of school, as far back as the second grade, as far back as I can remember, the second grade, when I got out of school, my mom was going to work. But when she was leaving out, so she had some instructions. Don't y'all open the door to nobody, don't y'all go outside, do your homework, leave the homework on the table, clean out the bathtub, don't leave no dishes in the sink, and the dinner is on the stove. Uh, I had uncles. My mom had brothers, male cousins, every male in my family was in prison that I knew. I never heard nobody come back and say anything bad about prison. My mother was trying to teach us right from wrong. But she had brothers and male cousins who would tell me and my brother things like, boy, don't listen to your mama. She don't know what she's talking about. She wants you to be a trick. You got family members, you got your culture, you got your community. The negative elements and the aspects of it counters what your mother tries to teach you, right? When you at your mother's house, you at your grandmother's house, and it's a bunch of y'all over there, it's a bunch of cousins. The no snitching rule ain't apply. We tell on each other in the household. But when we come outside, we holler no snitching. And that costs us our lives. It hurts us more than anything. Most black people are raised to tell. You better tell all y'all will get whooped. We all for a tell. But our culture tries to make people believe that we are raised with a criminal mindset, that we're raised to embrace the criminal elements of our culture. And that's what happened with me as a kid. My mother raised me to live right and to do right because right is the right thing to do. My mother didn't condone wrong. But because I had uncles who upheld those criminal elements, so my mother went to work. If my uncles ain't there, we're watching television. And black culture promotes, propagates, and projects all the negative elements of the streets to us. So you can go back to the 70s when you had protection era. You had all the pimp moves. We glorify pimps in our culture. Pimps are some of the most despicable men that you could ever meet. But we uplift them in our culture. We clap for pimps. We clap for killers. We celebrate killers. So between the movies, uh, the culture, and family members, right? That's what shaped me. So I would go against my mother's teachings to be a part of the community and the culture. So when gangster rap started coming, we got introduced to the gangster culture. And that's when we as children no longer began to behave as children. So there was a short time of my life during my adolescent stage when I was 13, 14 years old, where I started rebelling against my mother. I'm going through an adolescent stage. This is a normal progression. You typically rebel during this stage. You typically don't become criminal. Children become delinquent. The delinquent behavior ends them up in criminal behavior, right? So here I am rebelling against my mother, started stealing cars, running out the mall, stealing jackets, breaking the house. But I ain't no criminal. I can't go home and give my mama no money for what I'm getting out here in the streets. I just want to be a part of something. So wanting to be a part of something, uh, someone ended up losing their life. I caught a murder case when I was 14 years old. I ended up being sentenced to 12 years. Spent almost 7 years of my whole entire teenage life in the boys' home. I met other children in the boys' home. Prior to going to the boys' home, I knew nothing about gangs. I had never been exposed to gangs. I didn't run the streets. I don't know what it's like to go to bed hungry. I don't know what it's like to come home and the lights be off. I hadn't been beat and abused. I just didn't have a father around. And I needed an identity as a male. And because my mother couldn't give me an identity, she would give me a great home life, she would give me proper instruction, but I needed an identity as a boy. And because I lacked that identity, I would go hang out with other boys and do things that I know I shouldn't be doing. And it cost me 7 years of my life. And so going into the boys' home, uh, I grew up with kids who killed their mothers and their fathers. I grew up with kids who molested babies. I grew up with children who committed some of the most heinous and worst crimes in the state of Texas, and I never met a bad child. There's no such thing as a bad kid. No child is born bad. All behavior is learned. All behavior is taught, either through somebody teaching it to you, or you sit back, observing it, being exposed to it. So I never got exposed to it. I was sheltered. I lost my eye as a kid, so I had 9 eye surgeries. So I was always either in the hospital, so I never got to be in the streets. I was watching that stuff on television. Colors, Boys in the Hood, New Jack City. So I don't know where to be gangster other than what I see on television. But you listening to the lyrics. And so I'm just acting out what I'm seeing and what I'm hearing because children mimic what they see and repeat what they hear. Children mimic what they see and repeat what they hear. So if you see a violent child, you see violence. You see a cussing child, you hear a lot of cussing. You see a sexual child, he's exposed to sex. So all you have to do is watch children's behavior to know what they're exposed to. Listen to how they talk, to hear what they hear. They're going to repeat what they hear. So I was just a kid, just acting out what I seen on television. Never was gangster, never was involved in criminality. My mother had never condoned it. But you don't know that as a kid because you think your mother don't know what you're talking about. So I would reject mama and listen to these uncles who goes speak against your mother. And this her brother. These are her cousins. I'm just a kid. So that's what ended up shaping me. So I went into the boys' home and I learned remorse. I've always had compassion, but having remorse is something different. Having empathy for other people, being able to put yourself in other people's shoes. I learned to do that from being involved in taking somebody's life. I had a chance to have my childhood issues resolved while I was in the boys' home. All of my childhood problems and issues I had solved and healed in therapy. So when I came home at 21, my record was sealed. I have no felony convictions. There's nothing on my record to show that I've ever been locked up. When I came home at 21, I was youthful and innocence, and the culture reshaped me again. So when I came home, I got locked up in 1991. Came home in 1997, almost 1998. It was a whole different world. Master P had just dropped an album called Ghetto Dope. And in this album, it taught you how to cook crack. Step 1 to step 10. The exact same process. So I come home to a culture that was centered and shaped around drug dealing. And when I came home, every black person I know wanted to sell drugs. Not just the boys, the girls, not just the street guys, the college guys, the football players, the NBA players. So when I came home, man, everything was gangster. So I fell back in line with the culture. So I had to fight against the culture, the criminal aspects of the culture. Man, that was my battle. I didn't want to be a criminal. So what helped me to overcome that is that I had a son. And I wanted to give my son something that I never had. And that was just a present father. I didn't know nothing about being a good father or a bad father. I just wanted to be present. So he touched me, feel me. And I figured that I can learn what to do by being present. And so in order for me not to be present, to be present, I mean, I couldn't go to jail. That's where my thought process changed. I was willing to do whatever. I was willing to jump through whatever hoops, make whatever changes to stay in this boy's life. And so that's where my path that's where I got here at. So that's when I started discovering my purpose in life. Started working with children. Went to community college and enrolled in Texas Western as a pre-law student. So I was studying to become a lawyer. Then I created a youth organization called Hype About Hype Youth Outreach and started working with children. And from there, I ended up on the internet.
That's cool. So, like, I only told me something recently, like, told me, like, no matter how old you are, old or young, when you hear a gunshot, that's another chance to win life. It made me think back to the first time I heard a gunshot. Because I was like 8, me and Chris, that's my brother, we was leaving school, like, we supposed to go home, but now we want to go to the candy store, we want to get snacks before we go to our first, if we was going to do that. It's like our situation, you doing something you ain't supposed to be doing, or you at the wrong place at the wrong time. It was probably on the river. But as soon as we stepped on the porch, I just started hearing shots. So I froze. I was like 8, so like I was looking. When he shot me, there, watch. I said, move, watch. Brother, though, he'd been in a situation like this. He was 3 years older. He had left. So he had made it that day. Brad was like, damn, where they down the shoot. I came back to reality. But I lay on the floor, like the other car, I just out myself. Well, I hope people in that car they see me, because I know, if you said watch the TV, I know, but they see me, it's over me. Like grace of God, should they pull up the heel, pull it out. Like I'd be lying if I said that's the only situation I had like that. But I can only tell the truth and say this is what happened more and more ever since then. We got to the point where I wasn't being scared, you know what I'm saying? It's like that's why I'm not just pursuing. They said stuff like, shit, better than me, they got nothing to do with me. That's why when the opportunity to be part of the research study came 6 months ago, they told me like we don't talk to young people, we don't talk to them, we think they into like how they feel about it, how they think them. Like I went in it thinking, I know everything they gonna say to me. I'm down, basically. But they surprised me. Complete strangers, they told me they was sleeping. Like, they still see their friends. Every they close their eyes, but dead for a random person. So the question I got for y'all is like, how has gun violence affected y'all physically, mentally,
Uh, I kind of feel like what you said, but like now that I'm older, I don't like to think in that way, like better than me, but I still feel that. Uh, like about gun violence, I feel like gun violence is like stupid, like you feel me, like you feel me, like we young, so and like our generation is like starting to slowly die off. So like if we keep on killing each other, so like if we keep on killing each other, like who gonna be the people? Like, okay, like who gonna carry the world? But that's how I feel about things.
I'll say that downfalls affected me by like just always just having to watch over my shoulder and stuff. Cause like right where I'm living at, below. So it's like it could just mess up people's heads too if you just think about old friends that passed or if you know something that happened, it's normal. So yeah, it's regular to hear gunshots and all that, and it be family is like traumatized or something like that. It gets to a point or something. So it like affects me like young boys like me a lot.
So Charleston, like, how has your environment affected you physically, mentally, emotionally? Specifically, like, the time you spent in the boys' home, like, how was that on your mental or the mental of taking somebody's life? Like, how was that?
I stood over our people. I watched them die. So I took a vivid mental picture because that you think you're fascinated as a kid trying to be gangster, play gangster. You think you want what you want, right? You think you know, but you don't know because you ain't been through it, you ain't experienced it. So I always thought I wanted to watch somebody die, from watching television. Uh, that image have never left my mind. It appears in my sleep sometimes. Uh, I used to have nightmares. Uh, so imagine when you go, I want to be, I want to be, I want to feel because feeling is what makes you do this. Yes, I don't want to have a cold heart. I want to, so that's why I don't watch certain things. I don't watch certain police shit. I don't watch certain videos because I know the emotion that it evokes. So a lot of my frustration and a lot of my anger toward black people came from the violence that I seen. They came through the neighborhood, shot up a 93-year-old woman house by mistake. So we went over and repaired the bullet holes. So you see the bullet holes and you see the trauma from this 93-year-old woman. You come online, you say, man, F you, nigga, I hate you in a minute, F you. So that's what made me start saying F this, F that, because I'm seeing this in the community. You see a 15-year-old kid, he died claiming blood. You having a fundraiser, the blood's eating the barbecue, but they ain't having to bury the blood. The mama got the bed. And this kid died claiming y'all gang, y'all got these t-shirts on, but the mama still on the come. So y'all started getting mad at the community. I started having a disdain for the violence. And I know we're not a violent people. We're just a group of hurt people. We're not violent, we just hurt. That's why we hurt the people. So when I started, man, when you know better, you do better. So, man, I started knowing better and started doing better. It's just that my frustration and my disdain for the violence that's projected toward us by us make it seem like I hate us. I don't hate us. Yeah, I hate what we do to us. And then get mad when somebody else do something to us, act like we're in such an outrage. And then we pick and choose when we want to be mad. Let a rapper baby die. We being outraged for this rapper and the baby. But let one of y'all baby die. Y'all don't get that outrage no support. So I say, F these celebrities. What about these mamas whose names we don't know that don't get no recognition, don't get nothing? Like Tuka Mama. So, yeah, so when I started having disdain, so that's how it affected me. But it made me want to become the change that I wanted to see. I just didn't want to lose me in the process of trying to become that change. And I started losing me. That verbal frustration, man, I was starting to feel it. And I didn't want to be angry. I didn't want to walk with anger and hate in my heart. So I would get offline and go in the shower. Pray, man, God, please don't let my heart be hardened toward my own people. Because you start to hate what you see us, what we do to us. So I started going against Black Lives Matter movement. I would support the police. Yeah, I support the police. Y'all support the killers. Y'all will go against the police, but y'all will let somebody kill a baby and run to our neighborhoods and find refuge to hide from the police. And he done killed somebody. And y'all are hiding and go against the police. So I'm saying, man, this don't make sense. So that's how it affected me. It changed me to want to be better for us. But in the process, I began to lose me, and I couldn't support my children. So I had to figure out a way, man, not to lose me, trying to help them. That's how it affected me. I became angry and frustrated, and that's how I ended up on the internet using this as an outlet. Not just to bring awareness, but man, I really had a disdain for the streets and the street culture, the rap community, and I started hating black people because they was upholding it. Ride to school, I ain't got no manners for no slut. I'm gonna put my thumb in the butt, and they playing this on black radio, and I look back at my baby. Say, boy, one of them little boys, listen, go put his thumb in my baby butt. Because they playing on the radio, on our way dropping our kids off to school. So I'm saying, man, so I started that, man, so I had to find a way to not let this become part of my heart. So I came online and played the character.
So the next question I got for y'all, basically, how do y'all think so many young people are involved in gang violence, gun violence in their community?
I feel like what he said earlier on, but like mainly like some kids they just won't have nothing to do. You feel me? And then they just want to go outside and be with whoever or whatever and just follow. But that's how I feel.
Uh, I feel like a lot of people feel like they gotta prove a point, like when they don't really have to prove a point, or like they trying to be something that they not, like you said. And like it's like a lot of you feel me, like a lot of influence going on with the rappers. Like the rappers do got a big influence. You know, like music got certain vibrations, so like feel me, it'll make you feel me, make you start feeling different. But that's how.
I ain't gonna lie, I feel like why youth involved in gun violence because it's just like they just want to go outside and just be like, well, I want to do this, I want to do that, I want to have a gun, I want to be tough, I want to prove my point. What he said, like, they look like they want to prove their point sometimes, and I feel like it ain't really worth it because at the end of the day, y'all are losing y'all life for what? For what reason y'all losing y'all life for? I ain't gotta pay no respect to nobody that ain't your family member and none of that. Like that's how I feel for real.
So basically, what everybody said for real, like social media, it like hypes it up a lot for real. But a lot of kids is born inside of it too because like their family and relatives. That's what a lot of people don't see. And some of the kids like they didn't like choose to be in that type of situation or something. Or a lot of people want revenge of old brothers or whoever that passed away or whatever. There's a lot of people that's hurt out here. What he said, there's a lot of people that's hurt who still want to take action or something.
Some of the most violent people in our society, if you follow their trial, if they ever go to trial, most people who've been put on death row, they have something called mitigating factors, right? So if you look at most violent people life, there's a lot of abuse there. The violence stems from trauma. What's not talked about is, man, most violent boys done been sexually molested. And it ain't been talked about, and they keeping this on the inside, and they let it out when they fight. That's why they fight hard, and they hurt people. It's things that have happened to young people, and they done got bigger. Like Tupac say, when I get my weight up with my hate, I'm gonna pay them back when I'm bigger. That's when you start to see problems. So when they start getting their body size, and they realize they bigger than other people, because most of our black boys are not trained in self-defense, hand-to-hand combat, nor guns. They ain't trained, but they're trained to pick up a gun because that's what our culture teaches us. We're taught to solve everything in violence in the black community, right? If we go be real, we taught to be violent. We teach our kids to hurt other people. That's why we say it's okay to kill the bully. It ain't okay to kill nobody. But we would say, man, yeah, he should have killed. He should have kept in hand himself. They don't give you no right to kill nobody. But we teach this. We hear our mamas. Some of us have seen our mama pull another woman. Some of us live in the projects where mama fight mama and woman, man. So most violent boys come out of a violent household with a woman, not a man. Their mothers are abusive. You don't teach your goddamn man the verbal abuse, the physical abuse, the mental abuse. And that's coming from that frustrated single mama who whoop when she's frustrated and sometimes they go overboard. You might got a cousin that's violent. You got to fight him when she dropped you off over there. You got to spend the night. and your grandma ain't stopping it. Our violence starts in our home, not in our hearts. We ain't born violent, born to hurt people. It comes from our home life, our childhood, how we were raised and where we were raised. In some households, the mama let the two brothers talk about each other. You say something about my dad, I say something about your daddy. Man, that's causing a divisive heart. It's, man, you go to grandma's house, she treat this cousin better than she treat this cousin because she got a favorite. Now these cousins want to hurt this cousin. It started with us, how we raised. And that's what we ignore. We don't want to look at us. Oh man, we taught to be violent. I had to learn how to fit in. My mama hit me on my butt. She didn't hit us in our back. She was grabbing. Man, we got spankings. We didn't get beat. I ain't never been called a motherfucker. I ain't never been cussed at by my mama. So I heard Mob James' story. Mob James was one of the most violent guys with death row. He grew up in a household where his daddy knew he wasn't his real son and used to beat him, break his nose. He would go out in the community and project this same violence. So why do you think when you come to school, it's certain kids that know how to fight and hurt other kids? Man, I can't hurt you and you at home getting abused and you getting hit upside your head, your mama hit you up. Man, my mama, so how can I whoop you and you got this on you, but I don't know this? You come to school hungry, your socks wet, your drawers dirty, and you get abused, and we got to engage one another in class. And ain't nobody asking you how you doing. They say, pull your pants up, boy. Why you ain't got your uniform on? And you hungry and dirty. But they ain't caring about that. They care about if you're in uniform. So for a chance you get, you go hurt somebody. And nobody's giving you an outlet to release this anger because you ain't playing football, you ain't boxing. So where do the black children get to go release this at? Sit down, boy, y'all quit playing. He got to sit down in the chair all day in school. When he go home, his mama don't want him bouncing and just sit down, so y'all quit playing. Where do he get this out at? When he get bigger and hurt people.
All right, so I just wanted you to answer this, like, the thought process that violence starts at home, that's like a thought process you got as you got older.
Well, your parents teach you to be violent when they whoop you. Because they don't whoop you when everything is going good and you do something wrong. They whoop you quicker and faster when they're more frustrated, having a bad day. Things ain't together. Your mama don't whoop you when things is good.
But did you understand that when you were young?
Yeah. I knew that I only got hit when mama was frustrated. So I was like, mama, you must be mad about something. Because that's the only time I got hit. So I learned to hit when I got frustrated. Children repeat behavior. That's where you learn to hit it. Because you get hit. And you know when you get hit. That's why you know not to do certain things to get hit. You learn early on in life when they start hitting on you. So they say you spur the rod and you spoil the child. We think the rod is just whipping. It's a rod of discipline. Man, give me that phone. Cut that TV off. You ain't going out. It ain't just beating on me. But you just want to beat on me, mama, daddy. And when you beat on me, when do you come back and lift me up? When you get through telling me and chastising me, you done beat me down with the belt and with words at times. When did you come breathe life back into me? Because I'm going to go to school and misbehave at some point after this whooping. And you have to whoop me again. So this whooping ain't working. You're just beating on me. And I didn't want to do that to my kids. I wanted to find a better way to parent than teaching them that I'm hurting you because I love you. I can't love you if I'm intentionally trying to hurt you. Inflicting pain on you and I'm saying I love you. I don't want this kind of love. But you'll say don't hit your woman, then don't hit your baby. Because you're bigger, you're stronger. Why would you inflict pain on that baby? To teach them a lesson. And I can't inflict pain on my woman to teach her a lesson. So why do it to a child? It's precious, it's valuable. And whatever you say stick, whatever you do sticks. It don't go away. You may forget. The kid don't. I told my mother, I said, Mama, you didn't really raise us. It broke her heart. I said, Mama, you provided a great home life for nurture, but you had to go to work. How could you raise us? You was tired. Mama, how could you raise us? You was tired. So I paid, man, we think our kids don't understand and pay attention. But man, if you heard him, they paying attention. And they see everything. They know when you close that bedroom door, you got a man in there. They know what y'all doing. They can hear them noises. Mama, them ain't thinking about that. That leaves a boy feeling a certain kind of way too. Watching a man come in and out of mama's bedroom, and you can hear him in there moving. Yeah, that creates some anger where a nigga violent too. So, man, it's a lot of elements that we just gotta hold the mirror up. We gotta quit squabbling with white people and say, come on, y'all, let's huddle up. And we huddle up and talk to each other. We'll worry about them later. Let's put some plays together. We'll worry about they playbook later, but we won't huddle up. And when we huddle up, man, there's very few mothers and there's very few parents can sit their kids down and show the kids where they made a mistake as a parent and where we done wrong as a parent. You know how painful that is? We got to do that as parents too. We can't leave it on the kids. We can't wait till they grow up for them to tell us what we think they done, what we done wrong. We have to be assessing as we parent, but we ain't always right. But we think we are. We think we are. And we have to let our kids know, man, we understand what they going through because they think we don't understand.
All right, so you heard you say things like young people were the violence because of lack of opportunity, vengeance, things like that. So I just want you to think back like when you were young. What were like things like why did you do the things that you do, or was it always because of the basically your home environment?
I wasn't violent. I was mischief. Coffee. You hang with these group of dudes, they stealing cars, so you learn how to steal cars. 2 or 3 of them might go to the boys' home, or you go to another school, you hang with these dudes, they break into houses. You just fitting in. It's a lot of people you got in trouble just fitting in. And done some horrible things, just fitting in. As a kid, your brain don't allow you to process thoroughly. You don't have the brain development to look at a situation, to look at circumstances, and to really process it thoroughly. Especially if you hadn't had the right teachings and training. So all you got is what you feel. And your feelings say, I want to be accepted. Peer pressure. I don't want to be a hoe, I don't want to be a punk. And even though you don't want to do it, you still go along because your feelings not wanting to be accepted supersedes everything. So you go along, man, just to fit in. Nobody in the group wants to say, oh man, you a punk. Oh man. Nobody wants that. That's why we do it to each other. We ride in the car, somebody on the phone, oh man, he on the phone, kicking. We'll get off the phone with our girl to please our partners. So as a kid, your peers is your world. That's why peer pressure is so strong. So, man, it's the peer pressure. Everybody got a gun now. All the young kids got a gun, so you're pressured to have a gun. Whether it's a real gun or a toy gun. Because the culture sets this pressure on young people. It's the culture. So most of our mothers don't buy us guns as boys. Most black mothers don't want their boy put their gun down. They want to get playing with guns. But we're not taught to play with guns properly. We're playing with guns with the image of hurting people. We don't never play hunter. Little boy don't play cowboys and Indians no more. They don't play cops and robbers because nobody want to be the cop. Everybody play robber with the gun. So just the imagery of how we see a gun. I used to leave my gun on the table, on the floor, and my son is trained not to touch that gun. I never have to worry about him touching it. He know it as a kid. He know it because he's taught gun safety. We're not taught that. So because of our culture, and America loves guns. America's a culture of guns. This is a gun country. So naturally, we would gravitate to them as little boys, but we're not taught what they're for, how to use them, when to use them. We just know we want a gun. And by us toting this gun, most of the time we're angry toting this gun with the desire to hurt somebody if they bother us. Not if they're trying to hurt us, if they bother us. So we're already on edge before we get the gun. So it comes back to training and teaching. So if they ain't doing it in the home, that's where the community come in. It takes a village. It takes a village. So maybe we should create other options and perceptions of what a gun is used for. Hunting. Military. You like, oh, get in the military, you want to talk gun. Maybe we should start teaching other ways and methods on why you should need a gun. We think it's just to hurt people, not self-defense. Because we don't even put it in the holster. You see the one in the holster is typically used for self-defense. The one that pans with that long stick, yeah, that's the one that hurt people. The way you carry, how you carry. So we have to be taught.
So, what do you think is the main influence of running?
Trauma. Yeah, trauma. Yeah, I think from police to street guys to the military. When you examine trauma, that's where most of the violent men, they had trauma that they hadn't had resolved. Trauma that didn't happen to them. That's how they can do it to you.
So, what role do you think, like, media, music, social media, stuff like that, what role do you think that plays along with the trauma?
Same role in slow song played during love making. Same reason why you would put on some love Luther Vandross when you and a woman winding down each other so y'all can get in the mood, set the mood right. The same reason you do that to romance, the same thing rap music do. It sets the mood. Die, kill, nigga, die. It sets the mood. So imagine when you wake up first thing in the morning, die, kill, shoot, die, kill, shoot, die. That's all you hear. That's in your ear. That's how you watch it. It's almost like a simulating train. When a pilot is assimilating the flying airplane, they already assimilate the violence with the lyrics, playing it out in their minds, singing the song. Because most rap songs now typically have some truth to it with the violence. It ain't like they're telling a story. Most of them have some truth to it. So you hear this all day long, and you hear the preacher say, faith comes by hearing. Hearing what? Whatever you're listening to. If your faith comes by hearing the word of God, then if your faith is strengthened by what you hear, then what you hear is pretty important. That's why they got the three monkeys. See no evil, hear no evil, speak no evil. We're supposed to guard our children in such manner. So most of us don't even know what our kids are listening to. They just walking around the house with earplugs on. And we looking down on our phone, and they listen to whatever it is they listen to. So part of my curriculums and how I would bond and build rapport with children is I would ask them, man, who's your favorite rapper? Write down the list of their favorite rappers, go listen to the lyrics, and come back and say, man, why do you like him? All he talking about is killing people. That lets me know a lot about your temperament, your traits and characteristics on who you're listening to. Because you're going to act out what you're hearing. Just like if you told you'll be dumb and stupid, you believe that. Whatever you hear will show in the behavior. So We have to go, man, I say ban it, but we can't. They don't give us any other option. There's no alternative to gangster rap music. They haven't given us, and we haven't created none. So there's no more LL Cool J, guys who rap about the ladies and love. Everybody killing. Even the honest students are resorting to killing to solve issues. So it's not like other children aren't listening to the music. White kids listen to it, Mexican kids listen to it, but for whatever reason, our children have made it their gospel, and they internalize these words, and it affects their behavior, just like the video game. They use those violent video games to train soldiers. They use video games to train airline pilots. So you playing Call of Duty, you playing Grand Theft Auto, you committing crimes on Grand Theft Auto, you killing on Call of Duty, the blood look real, and then you listen to murderous, violent lyrics, and you don't have no emotional training. You're gonna act wild. You have no emotional training, and all you take in is violence, 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 violence. And you better not live in a violent community where you have to fight sometimes to come outside. You better not live in that community. What else would you do to survive? You can't live. You're in survival mode. So what typically happens during survival mode, the brain shut down. You become an animal out of your instincts. So a kid who wakes up hungry, when they get out of school, they don't know what they're going to eat. They're in survival mode. They like animals. Innate ability to survive. So they in nature. They ain't in logical thinking. Most of us are in survival mode with these guns, with this hurt, with this trauma, with this pain, with no alternative until we go to prison.
And so, in your career, has there ever been a point where you thought to yourself, like, that you completely lost faith in this generation?
Yeah, shoot. Not this generation. The grown people more messed up than the kids. Because the grown people ain't really grown up. Homie, can you imagine? We listen to the same music our kids listen to. How can our mindset separate? Our parents didn't listen to our music. They listen to a totally different genre of music. But nowadays, the kid and the parent like the same lyrics. Homie, they almost got the same mindset. I started believing that, homie, all these little niggas gotta go to prison. So I'm gonna go change. Because I haven't seen no institution outside of prison that develops the growth of a black man better than sending him to prison. I haven't seen no institution that develops a black man any better other than the military. Black boy come out of his mama house, he's so messed up. Then when he starts to embrace the street culture and elements of the culture, man, he's even more messed up. Homie, he don't start to align properly till he go to prison and start reading the Quran and the Bible. Start learning about Hebrews, and now he's into history. Now he knows what a little so, man, man, send him to prison. But there's a part of me that argues and said, man, it'll mess a lot of kids up if they go. Because it's gonna rob them of humanity because of what you have to endure, what you have to see just to survive day to day down there. But man, I done seen some of the best black men come home from prison, Malcolm X, to some of the best. They can speak Arabic, they can write in Arabic, they healthy, they look good, they respectful, but they had to go to prison to get that. They couldn't have got it out here. I don't know nowhere else. I don't know too many places in our society that develop strong black men outside of prison. So I started saying, man, we need to create a prison for a day program. They need to know how to survive in prison. Because 1 out of 3 is gonna go. And it has nothing to do with crime. 1 in every 3 black males in America will go to prison or be on some form of community supervision in a lifetime. So are they prepared to go? Man, we ain't prepared for nothing. So man, I haven't gave up hope, but I done been hoping. But I know it ain't y'all. I know it ain't the YN. I know it ain't the young men. It's what they saw before then. How do I know how to be a man if I ain't never seen a man? I ain't never seen a man get up and go to work. All I seen was mama and the women get up and go to work. So I didn't believe men work. I ain't never had a job. I was going to job plenty. Because I didn't believe men work. I never seen a man get up and go to work. I always seen men get up in the middle of the day, ironing clothes, go get clean, go hang out on the corner. That's the concept of a man that I had. So I don't blame my youth. So I haven't gave up on. I blame us as adults. Yeah, this I do.
Okay. So, but what do y'all think can be done in the community to like give youth better opportunities? Like, what do you think can be done to like keep them down the right path?
Like I said before, probably like programs and stuff, like the stuff to keep them out the streets. You feel me? Because like if you got things to go do after school and certain places to be at, feel me, you can't be with your homeboys or whatnot. But yeah, that's how I feel.
I feel like that. I feel like that the neighborhood should get better for real. That's it. Like build nicer places out in the neighborhoods and like make the neighborhood look cleaner, do all that. Like have them do gardening or something, like work or something to keep them out of trouble.
Probably like food, like more food resources, like more grocery stores around like the neighborhoods. Like like it ain't a lot of like grocery stores like around the neighborhoods. It's probably like corner stores, but like not no like real food. So they really like they ain't eating no good food.
You're showing young brother. I like you.
I'll probably say like we have more jobs. Like it's a lot of jobs, but like not a lot of jobs that's hiring just like little kids and stuff out here. But it was like more jobs. Get a lot of people out the streets for sure. Could they like get sticker moms or something?
Yeah, I think if you gave them young brothers some lawnmowers and some rakes and some trash bags and high ability vests, they'll put them guns down. There's not a lot of resources for young people, especially young black males. There was a time when I was their age, homie, they had hiring fairs during the summertime. Where we would go and the convention center would be hiring all young people. Nobody hiring young people, especially our young brothers. Nobody wants to deal with the young black male. So it's on us. We gotta create jobs. We supposed to see these young brothers in our communities, and help them start a horticulture and landscaping business by cutting grass. It's some black businesses that can utilize, some part-time jobs. But everybody's scared. They think the YN go come back and steal and rob, and everybody's scared of our babies, so nobody want to give them an opportunity. So it's nothing for them to do but get in trouble. But I do know this: once you get in trouble, they got a lot of things for you to do. You get all the resources and help that you can get once you get in trouble.
Okay. The next one is on a day-to-day basis, whether it's when you wake up or you outside, what's your number one concern?
I could speak for like the average like black teen outside, but like day-to-day basis, wake up, feel me, get ready, go outside, just trying to make some money. If you can't make no money, I don't know, like that's what you trying to do when you go outside. You just really trying to make money for real. But besides that, then it's just trouble. But yeah,
Uh, well, one of my so like basically like mine is like staying focused. Like when you like once you stay focused, it's help you stay out of trouble. Like once you focus, if you get your priorities right, you probably like stay out of trouble. Like your time is more limited.
Staying out the way, staying busy, or waking up.
For me, I wake up in America every day knowing my greatest threat to me is another black man. That's my greatest threat. So I have to maneuver, watching my greatest threat. And that break my heart. Yeah, it break my heart. So I make it my business to try to speak with my brothers and sisters when we pass each other to let them know I'm not a threat. Hey, how you doing, brother? Hey, how you doing, sister? Yeah, to try to diffuse. So that's my day-to-day engagement. Uh, yeah, and just think, homie, Dr. King didn't have to worry about plans and shit. I gotta worry about my people, and I want to help my people. So it keeps me vulnerable and at risk to be harmed and hurt. To walk amongst my people.
I'll say, like, just making it back home, whatever how your day goes, if you just get back to your home where you like feel safe. Hopefully, you can feel safe at your house, but just making it back home, that's the main concern, I think. And most other boys and out here, and like what they said, like staying focused. If you staying focused, and you can get through the days a lot better. Because you're not focusing on the wrong things. If you know what you want to do and you stick to it, then you can go along with it.
Alright, so you said earlier that you don't blame us for the way that we act, that we do. I ain't gonna lie. Me personally, I know some of the stuff I do it even after I know the consequences. So I know that some of the stuff we do, we gotta take credit for. So
Well, you're responsible for your choices and your decisions. Oh, man. So you had a group of kids that was born in the 90s who were born crack babies, right? That was a big thing in the 90s, crack babies. And these children was born with issues. Well, whatever happened to the crack babies? They grew up, and they grew up with some behaviors from what they had to endure from their crack mothers. Oh, you can't fathom what crack did to black culture. It it was a phenomenon, never been seen before. Uh, the behavior that people did when they was on crack, homie, was alarming to everybody. So we had never saw this in human history before. People on crack having babies. Man, the baby grew up. And then all of a sudden they started putting kids on drugs. Them were the crack babies. They putting on Ritalin and Adderall, drugs that make children have suicidal thoughts. Psychotropic drugs. They start putting children on. Well, what happened to those kids? They grew up. They had kids. So you imagine we have a group of children, homie, that really lack love. They hadn't felt love from the womb to the earth. When they was in their mother's womb, their mama still was fighting, cussing, fussing, drinking. When they was born to a house full of black and mild smoke, weed smoke, fighting. The baby wasn't birthed, but nobody picking up. So these people grow up. And yeah, they're responsible and accountable for their actions and their decisions. But homie, it ain't your fault that you was raised in these conditions and just all you know. Because there are some people who don't know right from wrong. They think wrong is right. They think when they hungry, they got a right to steal. They think when they get mad, they got a right to hurt people. They believe this. It's some people believe that selling dope is okay. There's some people believe that hurting people. So long as some people that were raised like this, and they won't know no better till they experience life situations to teach them different. These are those babies. These are those babies. So, man, that the prenatal, the nurture, the love, that's what's been lacking. That's what creates these type of violent children. Those childhood issues. So a lot of it ain't their fault that they this way. They want to do better, but they don't know how. Talk to someone, they want to do better, but they don't know how. Because they got to go back to the same condition. They got to go back to the same household. How they gonna be better? They come deal with us. We lift them up, we breathe life into them, we teach them, but they go back to that same household, and we can't change that. So that hopelessness will cause you to be violent too. You don't see no hope. You don't see no hope. And that's what's happening. And in the village, homie, they tell us it takes a village to raise a child. Homie, the village ain't showed up. So, nah, man, man, yeah, I don't think they know right from wrong for most part. Yeah, they know this is wrong, but it feel right when they do it. And they can only go on what they feel.
So, what steps do you think can we take from adults and the youth to get back to that point where the village is raising us, so we all like together as a community? What do you think it would take to get back to that?
Love, self-love, self-love. Yeah, most of us don't love ourselves. If we did, we wouldn't eat how we eat. We wouldn't do what we do. Yeah, you gotta love yourself to take care of yourself. And initially, that's where it starts at. The inner you, self-love. How do you teach somebody how to love themselves? Show them the value of themselves. Point out the good. So that's where you create strong children. You highlight the good in them. You nurture, you sow into the good. You sow into the gift. You bring it out. Yeah, but we don't nurture the good in children. That's why we don't reward good children for winning spelling bees or graduating. Man, we don't reward good. We really reward bad. The bad kid that can be good for a day. We'll treat him like he's a good kid because he was good for one day. So the other kid that's being good is looking at the comparison. So it's almost confusing. So you have to teach one to love self. And then from there, man, you can love everything else around you. But man, I think love conquers all. And I think once we start loving each other, then that black love will unify everybody. Because without black love, we can't have no black power. We ain't got no power without love.
But the last question I got for you is a family question. So it's like you already said love, but I feel like once people start doing the things that they do, it's gonna be hard to just throw that to them after you let bad behavior go for so long. So what do you think? How do you think families could get back into the lives of young people who are already out in the streets?
You create an extended family because it's gonna be hard to repair your own family. Yeah, you create an extended family. Your friends become your family. Your neighbors become your family. You you can't repair the issues with your mama and her sister. That's why I say you forgive your mother and your father. Man, you have to forgive family. And then go create your own. Yeah, go create your own. But family is important. I never had a hug from a man till I joined the gang. One of them big homies gave me a hug. I ain't had an uncle ever give me a hug. I ain't never been hugged by my daddy. I went to juvenile, I got a hug from a staff worker, but boy, they big homie gang hug every time, man. That's what affirms the behavior. That's why we run our homeboy. That's why when niggas get out of jail, they run to their homeboy. They come to the hood because in their mind, this their family. This is why they put the neighborhood over their own family. They left out of the house to get away from their family, to come to the neighborhood, to stay outside all day for whatever reason. This became their family, and they dedicate their lives to the hood, and not their family, not their children. So the concept of family is very important. The man.
So I want to take this time to let y'all ask some questions for together.
I'm very grateful for this forum that you guys are having. I started the grassroots work for this type of pouring into and affirming our children. I was raised in a sheltered home, raised with a lot of love since my foundation. And I grew up and noticed that people were not raised with that type of foundation. And when you don't have identity, that disconnect causes you to hate yourself and others. And so by 2005, I was shot 7 times. My son was 3 years old. And trauma, I've watched my son grow up, and I watched how trauma has affected him. He's 23 years old. And it has affected the whole construct of my family, the trajectory of our lifestyles in school full-time for architect to be an architect. I had a business minor, excuse me, and a person that I knew for 3 weeks came and he stopped my whole life. It did not just affect me, it affected my son, it affected my entire family, my mother, my father, my siblings, and I am a living, breathing testimony, and I want you guys to know when you see people, you never know what they've been through. So it's so important to be sensitive to one another. We are God's people, we are God's chosen race. And until you come into understanding your identity and who you truly are as an individual, who God created you to be, you're not going to see yourself or others through that lens. So I implore you, I encourage you, young gentlemen and young kings, to tap into your creator. Everything has a purpose. Every designer has a purpose behind their design, and only they know that purpose. And so until you tap into the person who designed you, the creator who designed you, you're not going to know your individual, unique purpose of who you are. And that is why we have issues. That is why we have issues. Because of what I look like as a young woman, I have received self-hate projected onto me all of my life from people who do not have love, who do not have an identity of who they are as an individual. So I implore people to tap in to self-awareness, security, and get it quick, because it holds up shifts, it holds up money, it holds up the community, it holds up all of the solutions that we could have had a long time ago when we don't come together and love one another. And it starts with loving yourself. Thank you so much for being here at Charleston, and for the person who put this together. I really appreciate this poem. Thank you.
Yeah, they did a great job.
First of all, I want to say Ashe to the young man and his wife. Second of all, In 2013, I'm gonna go back. I used to be a one sport contact football player. I played defensive end. I was 46 years old. I really wish I could still play to this day. And I was a jackout moderator and a hockey. 2013, I remember going outside, sitting on the front stoop, smoking my cigarette, because I didn't smoke in the house because I had the little baby. Mr. White, you know how that is.
Yes, man.
So I took my milk carton and I went outside. It was about to get dark, and I remember hearing a car turn from Betty Road to my street on Blair. In my mind, I thought I had made it in the house in time. But when I go to stand up, my leg had been run by AK-47. Me being the person that I am, crawled in the hallway, asked him to call if he would get my football in because I know I'm going to UC. That's all I want. I said, call my kids after I get to the hospital because they gonna freak out. Fast forward, 2 years before I moved on Blair, it was a lot of stuff going on. I mean, they was shooting every day, all day long. So I asked myself, I said, okay, I can either complain about the situation or break the situation. So I decided to join our Aberdale Council. Now, when I joined it, then nobody had the same income bracket, but they looked like me. So we had a whole different understanding because I'm a renter and they're homeowners. So how do I make them understand the 75 percentile of Aberdale that they really don't see because I don't drive. I'm boots on the ground every day, all day. I've been a village mother, been understanding. I was so glad you said that because that's what I've been telling people. Our youth is lacking love. That's the key component. If they don't have love and they don't have food, what you think will happen when they get out there in the street? So they're in survival mode. I've been amplifying this. So about 8 years ago, I went to Abigail Development Corporation. I said, Russ, I said, we gotta do something because everybody keep on trying to slap jobs, saying they need this, saying they need that. Everybody in survival mode. We need to take people out of survival mode to thrive. Let's build back the layers of the matter, because when you look at it, we got the same DNA as the banana. And we gotta get to the root of the problem, because they can't grow unless they clean out the roots, clean out the bad, the bad prices and the generational curse. Because I was doing it myself. Because when I went through training, I identified my mother was born in a saloon. My grandmother and grandfather was cross-dressing babies. And then I'm identifying what happened to me. I started beating up men because of the things that had happened to me. I was a brutal man. I mean, I beat men. I didn't want to. Yeah. So I decided to become celibate. I got to find myself. I can honestly say, as a grown woman now, as a lesson I learned, I didn't know what love was to the age of 40. And there's a lot of people out here that don't really know the true meaning. Now they know legs open up very easily, because that's why we got infant mortality. We got infant mortality, they can open up their legs, but they don't know laws, understanding, value, equality. Your love will have to teach you as they treat you as they treat themselves. So don't touch me, don't beat me, love on me, and treat me with the utmost respect. Fast forward, I am now the vice president. I'm still afraid, and I constantly need boots on the ground. I keep money in my house. I keep pampers. I keep food. I try to keep, because I'm on a fixed income, I try to keep DoorDash, because the young men, I get all kinds of young men that, matter of fact, one just said, Miss Jen, I need something to eat. So what do? I don't call nobody, and I don't ask nobody to give me nothing. God put us on this earth to take care of each other. If we start doing what he put us on this earth to do, we wouldn't have all these problems. We need to stop turning our blind eye, get out of our car, stop acting like you don't see what's going on.
Thank you.
Last one question.
This last question. There you go. Last question. There you go.
I want to ask the young men, do you guys believe we can reduce gun violence? Or do you think it's just the way of the world?
Like what I done seen like in the streets. I don't know, like I don't really.
Give it how you feel. Just keep it straight, man.
100%. I feel like it just be like so much going on. Like it be so much. Like it just be a lot. Like just too much going on. Like everybody got a problem with something. Like everybody just got too much to deal with. Like so it'd be like I don't know. Like it's solvable though. Like you could get it down for sure. That's just how I feel. Like for sure it take work, but for the youth though, like you could like I don't know, you could save lives, but it just be a lot of drama and beef and a lot of stuff going on.
The black community would have to find a meeting point with law enforcement agencies in order to do that. So there's a divide between the black community and law enforcement, and we don't really support our black officers, and our black officers really don't take the lead in controlling our neighborhoods. Hey man, let me patrol over there. So we're almost like insurgents because we have police coming and work in our communities who's not from our communities. And we make them feel that their lives is at stake because we're anti-police, perceivable in the black community. We will not be able to stop crime and violence on our own without the police. If we try to do it without the police, we would be forced to kill our nephews and sons because they go buck. Because of their displaced anger from the lack of male authority figures. Now, their mamas can go out there and take the guns out their hand, hit them across their head, embarrass them in front of everybody. But we don't want the mamas to take the lead. So we would almost have to have a war with our young people to take them guns out their hands if we can't replace it with an employee card to check in at work. Because if we take the guns out their hands, we got to replace it with something. An application, we got to put something in that hand to replace that gun. That has some substance to it and bring value to their life. Because if nothing else, that gun bring value to their life. That's when he broke. He still got some value with that gun.
I just want to say thank y'all, man, for coming down, being a part of the conversation. Y'all do across the line of the panel. If y'all want, we have free shirts by the door. Take one if y'all want.
Thank y'all for coming out.
And we all picture right there. That's it.
Excuse me, let me get by y'all. Excuse me, I'm gonna get behind you right quick.
All right, man. I've been watching the video for years, man. Where Dewberry at?
Say something to him right quick.
It's up to you.
To
Hey,
do.
man, Mr. White, he's an excellent man, great speaker. We got to see the real Mr. Charleston White, not the character. So, me in Cincinnati show Mr. White love. So, hey, man.
And what you say about Dewberry?
Where you at, Dewberry? Yeah. No. Oh, where you at, Dewberry? Looking for you, man. All right, man.
Already.
Get a rack. What kind of work do you do? Yeah, you heard that. What kind of work do you do? Oh, I'm thinking like that. You got a trip, right? Yeah, what's your favorite? What is your favorite?
Like good. That's
So,